It's good to have you here. you know, just keeping it buck. We ain't doing the extra today. We just gonna bring ourselves to the table. You have the most interesting story I know.
You think so?
Bro, I don't really believe that.
All right.
I've been wanting to sit down with you for a year.
All right.
Let's
talk then.
So, just a story about fatherhood, man. I remember. Yeah, we just gonna jump into it, right? I remember us kicking it at in college, right? And then we had nowhere to stay in the summer because you had the dorms and the townhouses. So I was like, "Hey, bro, we can work at this camp that I used to go to as a kid."
That's where it all started, man. That's where the change came. That place changed my life. I'm not gonna lie. That place changed everything. I looked at kids a different way. I looked at adults a different way. I looked at the social lives of how we were living. I looked at everything differently from the time I started to the time I was done. Yeah. So that place did change my life.
Yeah, it changed our lives, completely, Mm-hmm. But I remember us being at Camp Logic where they got the basketball court, Foursquare, then the swimming pool, and then it's right on the lake. And you got people from on the beach. You got homies you being from Detroit. A lot of my friends from Grand Rapids. Us coming together and to be in this place, and we really kind of grew into young men at that spot. Mm-hmm. And we did a couple summers together, right? Mm-hmm. But there's one summer I'll never forget, right?
Which one?
There was a summer that's gonna come together soon, where right before camp, we were. I don't know if he was getting ready for camp. You was telling me that a girl you had met, that you was like, this girl that you met said she was pregnant, right?
True.
But I don't want to tell too much of your story. I want you to tell us why we got you here. But you saying like, well, yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna jump back. I want to go to when you were telling me though.
Okay. We was just kicking it so I can say it how I said it. I said I got somebody pregnant, possibly. But it was a complicated situation. It was in Muskegon. I was living in Grand Rapids working at the vet's home. So the whole situation was kind of doomed from the start. Yeah. But I wasn't the person to just walk away from it. So time did pass from when the baby was born until when I found out. But I made sure I wanted to know. I needed to know because my dad raised me like that. He would have been like, and that's what happened. She actually called my dad on Facebook. It was like, your son got a baby. I was like, oh. Wow. But I had told him already. So I said it was a possibility and I'm going to go get a test.
But I remember you telling me that, hey, just keep me in the butt. You was doing your thing and she was doing her thing.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't a ton to worry about that. It could be, that she didn't know for sure if it was yours.
Right.
And I remember you saying that. And I am fast forwarding a little bit. Then I remember us going to camp. Right?
Right. I'm trying to think what year that had to have been 2013.
Yeah, you be ready.
Was that 2012 or 2013?
Around that. 2012.
Okay. Because, he was born in 2013.
Yeah.
So
2012. Yeah. Oh, you be ready. Sit up, man. You ready for this?
Yeah, bro.
You ready? So, listen. So, we're walking down. We're going to the basketball court. And you come bring me your phone. And you be like, hey, bro, you remember the girl I was talking about who said she was pregnant because she told you to not worry about it. And you even mentioned getting tested. And she said, don't you worry about it.
She said, don't worry about it. He has a dad. Now, mind you, she was mixed. I'm black. The other guy was a white guy. Mm-hmm. But he was like the Eminem white guy. So I was like, I tried to tell, like, you going to have to explain this to him one day, like, what's going on here. And if we don't get this test, it's going to come out eventually. Yeah. He going to want to know who his real dad is. Mm-hmm. I'm like, forget our relationship, our friendship, which what it really was. Forget about that right now. We got to do what's best for him. Mm-hmm. So I was talking like that from the jump. Like, I never was on some, oh, man, I got this girl pregnant. I made a mistake. It wasn't like that. It was pretty much I needed to know for myself because I did not want to have a kid out here in this world and I'm just living. And they having a rough life. And it ended up being a rough life for him. And when I swooped in and stepped in.
We're going to get there.
It changed everything. Yeah. So.
But I remember we were walking down and you showed me the picture of him on the swing.
Yeah.
And you was like, hey, bro, that girl who was pregnant, she had the baby. Here's the picture. And I looked at it and I was like.
I remember that day.
Bro, you got a baby. Yeah. That's your child right there. And I remember working at camp, and then you weren't the same even in thinking you might have a baby. You know what I mean? Like, we were like, instead of always playing around, we were like, all right, Jess, we're going to go kick you. Like, nah, I'm gonna go read some books while you guys go.
It changed everything, bro. It wasn't the same feeling. Just even thinking you was a dad or thinking you were about to be a dad, it changes everything. And from the first year of camp, 2010, to whatever the last year was, it was a big difference. We wasn't going out like that. We didn't want to do the same stuff no more. We had a different life.
Yeah. And
actually, Kennedy was born around the same time.
Around the same time, yeah.
About 2 days before. So we was going through the same thing, except my situation was just a little different.
Yeah, no, my daughter was around.
And I appreciate you not judging at the time, because I did get a lot of judgment after that, just because of the way it was done, the way I had to tell my parents, the way they had to find out. It was a big thing. So
when you did you know when she was in the hospital having the baby? Didn't know. So
I did not know.
Yeah, because she kind of got off her radar after you guys had a couple conversations. She said, "No, Jesse, ain't nothing really to worry about." And then she kind of backed away a little bit. And
I think when it got hard and stuff started piling on her, she called me.
Yeah, I know.
With the same guy still around, I'm like, all right, what you want? Yeah. You know what happened? And then that's how we ended up getting in conversations again and again.
Start coming back up. And then I remember a few months later, I was working at, I was doing a fatherhood conference, my first fatherhood conference. Yep. And I was in the parking lot. You don't remember this. You don't. I was in the parking lot and I called you because you sent me a picture of a DNA test, but it was all these numbers and I couldn't read it. I didn't understand it.
You gotta see the 99.999. That's what you gotta look. I should have circled it.
You sent me a picture and you found out you were the father of this child that we thought could have been yours, but now we know for sure. When did you find out for sure that was your child?
So, after she talked to my dad, me and my dad had our in-depth conversation. He told me what to do, what I was already thinking to do. So it wasn't nothing, I didn't feel no judgment from him, but I knew I had to do something. So after that, oh man, it's slipping my mind now. I didn't pass by. 2 weeks before we got the test, I went over her house just to introduce myself. I introduced myself to the whole place because I feel like if I'm a man and I'm about to see if this kid is mine, I don't care who over there. I don't care what's going on. I'm going to step to everybody. And I did. And it was kind of open arms, though. And we actually ended up being cool. And there wasn't no issues, even though the issues came. But at the beginning, before we took the test, it was no issues. Yeah. So a week later, I went back over there, took the test. The test took 7 days to come back, I think.
Okay.
Maybe 8 or 9.
Okay.
And the day that I found out, was the test was mailed to her, and she showed it to me, and I'm just like, I called my mama. That's the first thing I did. I called mom. She said, "What? Huh?
Got a baby.
Got a baby."
What age is the child now? Because it's been some time.
He was about 1 and 6 months when I first started going over there. When he took the test, he was about to turn 2.
Wait. Okay, so your first time seeing him. I'm going to backtrack
again.
Wait. Backtrack. So before the test, your first time going to see him, how old was he and what was that like?
I did see him when he was a baby, like 6 months. Okay. Because we got in contact. We still was talking, as friends. And after she didn't tell me that he was born, she called and said, "You need to see him." And I'm like, okay, I need to. And I held him and I was rocking him in the chair. And I'm like, oh, I said, "Am I your dad?" And, I'm talking to him.
Yeah. You asked him.
I'm asking. I'm like, "Am I your dad?" And it went from there. And I think I felt like he was mine, but I needed to test to make sure. You always need to test just to make sure when you're in a situation and y'all not married. You know, and that's a big thing that I want to teach my sons now. Like, before you make these decisions, these permanent decisions, get married. It's okay. Yeah. Or don't do
what you. So you holding them though. You hold them. I hear what you're saying. But you in a different situation, right? It isn't shoulda, coulda, woulda. You're holding the baby now.
Right.
And you're telling them, am I your father, right? And then what feelings are you feeling? And then what else happened?
I actually didn't know what to feel because, like I said, I didn't have anybody involved the first time I seen him. Nobody knew about that time. He was probably about 5 months, 6 months. Okay. Nobody knew. I didn't know what to feel, but I knew I just had to take care of the situation. And once I found out I was the dad, it was over from there. That's where it just took off.
All right, wait. You slow down, wait. But you see him for the first time. You
right.
lay eyes on him. Where are you guys at again?
At her house.
You're at her house. And did you feel somewhat of a bond already without him knowing that it was yours?
I think that's what it was. Okay. I felt that attachment already.
Okay. All right.
But I kept feeling like maybe it's not.
Was it because of what you thought other people would think, right?
No. It was because of our relationship.
Because of the relationship. Okay.
I was in a situation already in York Creek. So I had that going on.
Yeah.
She had her stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
So you had 6 months. Now, how frequently? Now you end up saying, okay, thank you for letting me see him, and you leave, right? Are you now seeing him frequently, or
no?
what?
She disappeared again.
She just
stopped calling. I think number changed. The whole nine, everything changed.
But what's going on in your head? So she's not.
Nah, I gotta know. I need to know.
I gotta know.
And I'm about to get fired from the job at the vet's home at the same time. So it's all
because then if you get fired, you're probably gonna go back towards Detroit too.
Exactly.
So you I need to know and figure out what's going on. Okay.
I didn't want to do that, and when I got fired, I ended up going to Milwaukee with one of my friends that was living out there. And when I stayed in Milwaukee, I did try to call her. Yeah. Just because I think I told you the same thing. Like, I need to know. Like, I was telling everybody, I need to know now. Yeah. Like, it's eating me up now.
Yeah, because now you did feel something when you picked him up that day.
And I came back home. Okay. I came back to Grand Rapids.
Yeah. Okay. So, now you're seeing him. All right, so she took some time off. When is the next time that you see him? Is it during the taking the test? Was that the
Yeah, that was the next time.
So now we fast forward.
He's
a year and a few months.
Yep.
I think you said.
Two relationships in. I went through 2 different relationships within that time frame. He almost pretty much.
But then he has also, I don't want to go too far, but he's had other men in his life as well.
Yes.
So you guys both were going through different relationships.
Exactly.
In a sense.
And that's where kids kind of develop these, I don't want to say mental issues, but I just say problems because it's not their fault.
No.
And I don't think it's their mental that caused it. It's us, the parents.
Yeah.
And I just felt like he needed that person to come in. It changed everything. I stopped doing everything at that point.
I feel like things weren't the same since you picked him up. Because even in our conversation, like,
that could be
it was
true.
like, man, I wanted to know. Now I got to know. I've held him now, and I was feeling something. So I think there was already some connection forming, right?
Yeah.
And now you take the test. It's a year and a couple months.
Yeah.
What is the day like when you find out that is your child?
Man, it was a sad day. I think I cried. I think I was upset with myself. I think I thought my peoples was really disappointed. Like my mom and my dad, I thought they were disappointed just how the whole situation went down. And I think they imagined me having kids a different way because I didn't have kids for the first time until I was 23.
Okay.
If they would have known, if they would have had a heads up, I think I called my mama the day I found out, and she found out. My dad knew already, and I kind of felt bad about that, like telling him and not her, but me and him had that connection.
Okay.
And after that day, the parents didn't mean anything. Catriel's mom, then I just was focused on having a kid. Okay. That's it.
Nothing else mattered.
Nothing else mattered. She didn't have to buy another diaper after that. I didn't even have a job, I don't think. I provided still, and I just had it in my heart to be. I knew fatherhood was coming. I'm like, everything my pops taught me now, I have to put into play. It's time.
So now you're back in Detroit, though.
I ended up moving back to Detroit because, you know, my family. Actually, I stayed in Grand Rapids for a little bit longer. I moved by Rivertown.
Yeah, I remember that. You in that apartment.
It was a night. I liked it out there.
You didn't really have a bed frame or anything. You just had
did.
I don't remember.
Well, that was the beginning weeks. But, you know, after a while.
I thought you just had an air mattress.
I did, yeah.
That's okay. Hey, you know you got to search for it.
Hater.
Just like, yeah. So now
I ended up getting a bed. Though.
Yeah, end up stay go to bed thing. No, so then you go back. People need to know I did have a bed.
Yeah, I had a backboard, everything, the whole nine.
No, all jokes aside though. So
I moved back to my mom's house.
Moved back to Detroit, and then now you know the baby's yours. You're back in Detroit. I'm assuming you're like, okay, now I need him here, or I need to spend time. What is that like? What is that?
I knew that the kid, Catriel, needed both his parents. So I came up with a system. I said, don't even worry about nothing. Don't buy no more clothes. Because, you know, we had issues with that. I said, don't buy him nothing. We do 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off.
You drive? I'm sorry.
Whoever, we'd go back and forth.
Okay.
At first, I was the one driving back and forth.
That's what I remember.
You know, and it's the thing about some moms, use that power they have at the beginning, which they deserve it because they birthed the child, but some use that to their advantage.
Yeah.
And she started making rules on me like, I'm like, I'm gonna drive to Detroit this weekend and see my family. No. Now we arguing about it because don't tell me I can't. I'm not just a babysitter. I'm not just the guy that hold the kid and say, this is my son and put him back down. Like, no, it was not like that. He was with me watching Space Jam. Like, we doing everything together.
That's my son. So the agreement was at first is that 2 weeks he'll go with you for how long period of time? And
2 weeks on.
So 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
From Detroit to Muskegon because she's in Muskegon still.
And we after a while we started meeting in Lansing.
And how many trips so the first process he comes with you in Detroit, he's having a good time. Is he saying, hey, where's my mom? I miss my mom. Or are you guys having a
I think he was starting to get used to my family because, you know, it was an overjoyed type of situation. And he had everything, bed, toys. I don't think he was paying attention to it. But at first he would cry. He had separation anxiety from her. And he always ended up having it, but I think he ended up getting so used to me being the dad that he just know, all right, I got a mom and I got a dad. Yeah. Because before, I don't think he looked at those guys that she was with as fathers. So it was an issue, but then it was cool. He just come with me. He knew he was going back to his mom.
So it was good.
It became a problem when he stopped going to his mom.
Wait, okay. So how did that happen? So you guys were going back and forth?
I'm going to tell you what happened.
Okay.
The one time I picked him up, I brought him back to Detroit. She went to Vegas. For like 3 months.
Wait.
So for like 3 months.
First, you guys were switching back and forth.
Everything was cool.
For about how many trips did you guys do?
I say about we did a hefty maybe 15.
Okay.
10,
okay.
10,
so a few months. Y'all going back and forth.
It was
2
a
weeks.
few months.
It's working. And then 1 month, she's supposed to pick up. You guys are supposed to meet, and she's out of town.
Now, every now and then, I would do it to be like, you know, I'll keep him an extra week.
Okay.
It turned into a month.
Okay.
You know, but the day that she went out of town and just didn't come back, you know, after that month, I was just like, where you at? I didn't even hear from her.
Okay.
At all.
Okay.
Yep.
Wait. So you go to meet, or it's time to meet, you getting closer to the time, you call, like, okay,
I called. There's no answer.
No answer.
At all.
Call again.
Call
no answer again.
Yep.
How did you find out she was out of town?
She told me. She ended up, you know, just that one random night, ended up calling me like.
Wait, so whoa, not even the same day. A couple days.
I think I ended up because I was on Facebook heavy back then. I was doing a social media thing. I think I looked at her Facebook and noticed like, all right, I'm gonna just wait for her to call me, knowing that she out of town. Like,
okay.
I think you could see the Las Vegas.
Okay, yeah, you're a detective, so you say I'll find out where you at. No, so you calling, no answer. Is it that night that you end up getting in contact with her?
It was not that night. It's I think another week or two passed.
Week or two. So you're supposed to meet her, but she haven't met her, and now a couple weeks have passed, and you find out she's in Vegas.
Yeah.
Reach out to her.
That's the second month. I reach out, and then she ended up calling me.
And then what did she say?
She's in Vegas. And she'll be back whenever. I'm like, okay.
She said she'll be back whenever.
I knew what was going on. I knew what type of lifestyle she was into. So I pretty much chucked it up as, all right, now it's time for me to get full custody. Just because.
Wait, but before even that, I ain't gonna cut you off. Before we even get to custody thing, Katri was expecting to go meet his mom, right? Because you guys have been meeting back and forth. What was that like? What was that conversation like with him?
He didn't notice. I don't remember him making a big thing about it.
You don't remember him saying, "Hey, is it time to go back with mom"? None of that.
Because he was around my mom and my little brother and my sister so much, he stopped noticing, and that was the transition period for him. That was a part of his journey. He just started noticing.
So do you think that he did notice, but just
I think he did.
Yeah, okay.
But he would have known. He would not have known what was going on about his mom because I wouldn't tell him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like, well, she's in Vegas and forgot to
No, but he knows that I'm supposed to go back to see my mom, and it's been a lot longer than normal.
Yes.
Okay.
He noticed that.
Okay. And are you having these conversations with them?
At that point, I wasn't.
Okay.
I was not as seasoned as a father back then.
I feel it. And I mean, even as a father today, that's still a hard conversation to have. So, I can understand why you.
My fatherhood conversations have been the hardest.
Yeah. So, now we don't got to go too deep in it, but now you're saying, hey, it's probably best because his mom has the child was at the hospital with the child was born. You weren't there because of whatever the situation was. So mom has all the rights, right? She's, full custodial parent. So now you have a child where you don't have, there's no, affidavit. There's no signing of the birth certificate. You don't go deep into it. But what was that process like? Of like, okay, I need to legally be recognized as his father.
One of my favorite movies is The Pursuit of Happiness, and I felt. It just started feeling like I was becoming, the character Will Smith played. And once I felt that, I'm like, this is not a movie. This is real life. I need to get the proper paperwork.
Wait, what part? Like, what are you saying? Like, you mean like...
When the mom left in the movie,
left, you felt like that? Okay.
No. I'm like, oh, am I really doing this? But I didn't believe it because when me growing up, it was always the moms that kind of got left. Yeah. You rarely had the dads.
Yeah.
Now it's so common. Yeah. And I was like, am I becoming a statistic still? Like, I'm thinking I'm, fighting and I became what I didn't want to become. So I really didn't know what to do, but I knew I had to be a father at the end of the day. It was plain. And I needed to get the proper paperwork. I needed to make sure she knew that he was going to stay with me. Because she did try to fight it for a while. It was when she actually came back, she tried to take him and not, bring him back.
So you let him go back with time?
Yeah, eventually he did go back.
Okay.
And I think those were the last times he started, ended up going with her.
Okay. So when he would come with you, you were probably more like, I don't even know if I want to send him back because I don't know if I'm going to see him. But now you're going through the court process.
And then, I was connected with Muskegon still, so people called me with stories and people called me with, with everything. Like, I seen her, I know her. Or this is, you don't want your kid. Oh,
she's not in a good place right now.
No. Yeah. Say less, and I'm out there. And one day I just went out there, and he never went back.
And you end up getting full custody, right?
No, not even after that. No. Okay. It was a while until I got full custody.
So you just end up having him.
And she just agreed to it.
And about how old is he right now? If you're just guessing, he's about what age?
He's about to turn. He's 2.5, going on 3.
About to get ready to turn on 3. And he's starting probably to ask more questions a little bit? No?
Yes and no. Okay. It's like I made sure he stayed in contact. After the Vegas stint, I made sure he stayed in contact with her. I made sure he knew that was important to talk to her. And I told her the same thing, like, you got to talk to him. Even if you're not going to be around, still talk to him. So we had a thing established, like, she would call. Okay. And then we got him his own phone, and that didn't work out. He was too young at the time, but we tried different methods on keeping him in contact with her.
Okay. So he's getting older. Relationship still shaky with mom. You probably starting to see a little bit more inconsistencies. Mm-hmm. And now you starting to probably thoughts in your head like, I'm being more and more single father, I'm guessing.
That's when I realized I was a single father. And I started looking it up. I started checking it out. I watched the movie Pursuit of Happiness again just to get to, you know, but I had a support system around me. Okay. I had family, I had friends. Okay. And I knew I was going to be all right. I think I was more angry at the time that I had to go through that. I'm like, why do I have to go through that? And I had my dad and my mom, and he don't have both, you know? It's not right for a kid to have to go through that. We know the best situations for a kid to be in is a 2-person household, or at least to have both of them in their lives.
In their lives.
Yeah.
So, you feeling a lot of guilt?
Yes.
A lot of guilt?
Yes. You know, you can't control what happens, but to feel guilty, I didn't look at it like it was a bad thing or it was going to hurt him. It's just something that I felt, you know. I knew I was going to be able to take care of him. I knew I was going to always work. I've always been a worker. Yeah. So those things, I was just guilty about how long it took to get there. We might have not even been at this place if I would have jumped on it earlier or if she would have contacted me back earlier. You think about the woulda, couldas, and shouldas, and that's not how life goes. So me turning into a single dad, it's almost like, all right, I'm the movie. What do I do next? And I was just looking for answers I still just look for answers every day. So that's a struggle.
It's a struggle.
Yeah,
it's a struggle. So child's getting older, right? You're in the single dad role. I remember you saying, "Hey Norman, I'm still going through the court system." I know you, because you know with my partnership, somewhat with the courts, you're like, "Hey, I know you're working with a couple people, but I do remember getting a phone call from you one day and said, you know what? I'm walking with the courts right now. They even thought that it would be the best case scenario right now. I don't know if that's the right word, but the best thing for Kaytril in that moment was for you to be the father, but you had to have the conversation with mom to see if she was okay of agreeing to that.
Right, and that didn't come, it came later.
With time. Yeah, with time. But with time. I am fast forwarding a little, but with time.
But the way she's had it set up, I had all the power as a parent.
Yeah.
But if she wanted to, she could have came in there and snapped her fingers and said, and we were going to go to fighting back and forth in court. And I didn't want that. And I was going back and forth to court. She didn't show up.
But you knew she wasn't in a good place.
So eventually they were going to be like, all right, he's just going to be with you. You get full custody. But I had to explain to them, like, she don't want to just sign her rights over. Yeah. And then one day she just popped up and did it.
So
instead of us, creating this long wave of court cases, she understood where I was coming from, that he just need to be with me and you get yourself together. And when you ready, you come back and we can do it how we need to do it.
Now, I knew she was really struggling there, right? Trying to, I think she was some sobriety stuff, substance abuse,
Coping,
right?
Yeah.
Coping, trying to, so with her finally saying, you know what, Jesse, you're probably in a better place right now. Why don't you take Kaytril? Now it ain't, I think I'm a single father, but it's on paper. It's on everything.
Paper. It's on wax.
What is that day like? Are you celebrating because it's like, I know now she can't pull that court whenever? Or is it...
It was bitter. It was bittersweet because, like I said, no parent, no kid has to go through that. Should have to go through that. Yeah. And he did. So it was bittersweet because I was happy that it was over with. Yeah. Even though it really wasn't over with after that. It was just on paper. She couldn't come in and say,
"It's my child.
This is my child. I'm taking him back." Nope. This dad here. You can't just go out of town. You can't just leave him. You can't just not answer the phone. Y'all have to meet. He gets parenting time. Yeah. I started learning all these things, and that's a shout out to Jason
Walker.
Jason Walker. Yeah. He was giving me the game pretty much on what I should do. Yeah. And after that, I pretty much was seasoned at. I thought I was a lawyer. I thought I was head of this stuff right. Yeah. But I didn't like that I was going through it. I was still kind of angry. I was angry up until maybe 2 years ago, a year ago.
Her or angry at her and the situation?
Mostly the situation. Like I stopped being angry at her once I think the situation with the courts was done because she had no power over me. Yeah. You know, once that power is gone, like what you gonna do? Gonna try to take him? Nah. He here and he's learning. He's going to school. I did everything. So
he knows this stuff is going on now because now he's what age?
He didn't because I didn't take him to the court cases.
But how old is he now?
He's 3 now.
Okay, so not too much further on.
Yeah, no, so, this all still in the same. 3. Everything was kind of going back. The whole story kind of go back to back. It was no major gaps after that.
Okay, so now you got him. Your father, bittersweet. He's getting older, and now you're doing most of fatherhood. From what I remember, you're doing most of fatherhood with just by yourself. You know, you got the support, like you said.
As a father, yes, I was.
As a father,
I was alone. You was a lot of nights in the car. You know, you sit at work crying because as a man, you want to be able to do everything for your kid. Man. As a single father, you can't do everything for your kid, bro. It's not gonna work at all. Like, I really thought I was gonna be a superstar, you know, have my nonprofit going by now and all these things, and it wasn't happening. And then I felt like that situation slowed everything down even more because now I got to work harder. I haven't had a day where I don't pick up a kid. Now it's cool, but before I used to just be like, man, I just want to go home and go to sleep after I get off work. I never did. So it changed my whole life. And I didn't want it to. Nobody wants that to happen. Not a single mother, not a single father. Nobody wants to change their life in a way that makes them have to be the sole provider by themselves for a kid. I know, bro.
That's heavy, bro. That's heavy.
It almost was too heavy for me, man. I almost was broke. Like, if God didn't help me and guide me through the whole situation or give my peoples the guidance to guide me, I'd be done for it, man. And Kay would be probably in the system. But I knew, I'm like, I need to change my whole life, the schedule, the regimen, party. It just, nothing felt the same no more.
It just started changing.
I didn't feel like the college Jesse no more.
It did. Our phone calls just look, you know, because, you know, we were, you know, even as me being in co-parenting and having my daughter by myself a lot of times, at the time, you know, before I was married, like, we would have a lot of the same conversations, but I knew you had a lot more obstacles. And anytime I would want to complain, because I struggled with housing and all of that, right? But I knew the obstacles that you had, and I never felt, you know, like, just, you know, like I felt bad for even complaining, knowing, you know, how many obstacles you had. Long story short, that was a feeling. You know, I feel like that now too. But as the story continued and you continue doing the fatherhood thing by yourself and working, and, you know, I've seen you, you know, working outside. I mean, we used to talk on the phone every day every few days in a week just because of how busy you were trying to be a father. And then I know as Katria was getting older, you know, things just started to become a lot more, you know what I mean? Like, I started seeing it become heavy, you know.
Consumed me.
It consumed
fully.
You. Your eyes don't even.
But the way you felt is the way I felt about the next person, and that's what makes us men and human. Like, I know it's another single dad or a person that probably lost his kid that feel worse than I feel. So it's up to us. You grab me, I grab him. Reach one, teach one. Like, that's pretty much how I feel about it. And that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me in the game. If I didn't have it, if I didn't have a person that I could call and talk to about that, I would just be in the car sitting by myself, sulking in my sorrows, not getting stuff done. You need that edge.
I've been there too.
I think we all been there
too. I've been there, seat all the way back.
Man,
balling.
It's cool. Cry like a man.
Cry like a man, then wiping the tears and going back in the house.
Or going back into the job.
Going back
into the school. Going back into the meeting. With nothing on your shoulder. No chip, no nothing. You leave them problems at the door.
Yeah. But sometimes it's hard to leave them at the door, though. You know, and And I think, yeah, it's sometimes it is, you know. But I've seen, you know, what it's made you into, and as K-True is just such a smart kid. And I know you're so hard on yourself, bro. You are.
You have to be.
You are.
Man. But you start getting soft with it, and kids start thinking you know.
No.
You don't got the edge no more.
Because, you know, anytime you call me about, you know, what Kennedy is doing, you be like, I gotta get K doing that. You know? I'm like, yeah. No, we just read a couple of books at night. Yeah. Oh, I gotta get my.
She reading chapter books, man. What she reading? Twilight Saga, man. What the heck?
But you've done a phenomenal job.
And guess what? He reading like that now, though.
Bro,
that's the motivation that I'm talking about. You gave that.
Your son is brilliant, you know, and a lot of that comes from the hard work that you put in and just showing up and putting the time in, you know, and you know, especially in spite of everything, you know. I think K's had a heavy life, you know, being a single father, right?
Yeah. Being
a single father. And as time had went on, right, more obstacles had come, right? Because now I'm going back to the story a little bit. He was 3 when we talked about full custody. Now age 5 and 6, right? Am I going too far ahead? It's you by yourself now. You know.
No, I've been by myself since he was 2. So.
But I mean, like I'm talking about.
By 3, it was Dolo.
Okay,
like,
Dolo.
And it was the bill on child support was building. The bill was building. It was going up, and I wasn't seeing nothing.
So no support.
No support.
And when is the next time that they meet then?
Well, she tried her best to get down to Detroit whenever. I never stopped her. Whenever she wanted to come on, let's meet at my grandma's house. Yep. Come on, like. A couple times she came to my mom's house, or we met at Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah. It was periodically out the year.
Yeah.
So she did come down. She would see him within the year. Yeah. But it would just be months going past where she didn't see him at all or talk to him. And that's where I was getting frustrated with. I'm like, all right, you already not around. You can at least call.
Yeah.
And I'm looking back at, you know, single moms, like, this is what they felt and this is how I'm feeling now. Like, why?
Yeah.
You know, why not just call? That's it. It's simple. A call would change his whole day. And it did. Usually when he got that call, he was good.
Totally different kid.
Yeah. And then I started noticing how he reacted in school, and he kind of, even to this day, like, kids let loose when they got those emotions built up. Yeah. And I'm talking about call at the call. I'm like, that's not him. You know, everybody say that about their kids. Yeah. That's not him. Yeah. But I really knew that was not him. Or was he just lashing out because he didn't get that opportunity like a lot of kids? So he see kids running up to their mom in school. He never got that opportunity. At no point in his life, really, that he can remember. And I think he probably do remember the times when he was 2 and 3, and that's all he got. That's like, right.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. You know. That's tough, bro. That's tough. So as he continues on, he's getting older, but I know now she's starting to get in his life a little bit more.
I think she was always there. It was always there, but now it's becoming, well, what would you call it? Incoherent. Like she don't even know that she in it now.
Cause of the drugs.
It's the mental illness mixing with the drugs.
The drugs and the mental illness.
You know, when those two mix, sometimes it creates a bad reaction.
It got bad, okay.
And now she not even gonna pick up the phone. She don't even want to. She don't even want to talk. You know, when you going through addiction, sometimes being on the phone with the person you love is hard. And I think that's what she was going through with him. Even though she wanted to talk to him, because she was a good mom. Now, I'm never saying that she was a bad mom. She was always a good mom and loved him.
Yeah.
It's just when you start going through certain things, it's like, I can't even talk because I ain't even there. And when you ain't there, you think your kid gonna judge you and look at you a certain kind of way when they really not. They really just want to talk to you. If they know they can't see you, they just want to talk to you.
So, and then, I mean, next I remember, the next time I remember you bringing her up is her meeting a little time before Christmas, right?
You remember more than I do, man.
Yeah, a little bit before.
Yeah, yep.
It was.
I think she brought some gifts for him.
Some gifts. It was a birthday. She said.
His birthday on the 21st. So she would usually try to either come see him or talk to him right around that time, knowing that his birthday around the corner.
Yeah.
So.
And how old is he now?
I say it's going in the line. He 4, going on 5 now.
Going on 5 now. Mm-hmm. And try to give him some gifts before Christmas or before his birthday, the 20th.
She did, and
how was that? How was that when they seen each other?
You know, she, like I said, she came periodically throughout the years, but when she came that day, it's like it's a big day for him. It's like having a fun day at school. And you know, you about to watch a movie. You know, you about to get some candy, a couple of little popcorn, and a little sippy cup of juice and stuff. He knew that day was coming. Yeah. And then he started using my phone, so he know how to use my phone and call her. Yeah. Like, hey, where you at? Yeah. You okay? What you doing? You know, he that type of kid, and he did that to the day she passed away. So at that point, I don't think I was angry no more at her. I just knew the situation. You know, I tried to stay in contact with people in Muskegon just to, you know, make sure she was all right, as far as I want him to be able to talk to her. I don't want her to get caught up in this, and that's initially why I, you know, went down there and brought him back to Detroit, because I was getting calls. I was getting people calling me on the daily, like, what the heck? Yeah. So at that point, it was no malice. I just wanted her to talk to him as much as possible.
And that's the 20th. And then you get a call on the 20. What day?
You know what? I think I got the year wrong, because he's 7 now.
He's 7, yeah.
And this happened on the 20th. She came and saw him. Yeah. And she actually came to my house. Yeah, yeah. She never came to my house where I lived at since I met her, probably. Yeah. And this last time, on the 20th of 2020, I said, come on, you can come. Bring us cake. She brought him a cake, several gifts. I'm like, it felt like a new beginning. But she was speaking death. She kept speaking it that same day. No lie. She was speaking death. Like I think I'm going to die. My kidneys. She just started talking like. But you know, sometimes when people start talking that, you just kind of, I was just like, all right, let's talk about the kid and let's, you know, let him have fun, because she was kind of segue into that. I'm like, I don't want to talk about that. Yeah. And the next day is when I got the call.
The 21st?
The 21st. I didn't tell them till the 22nd.
But you got a call. What was called?
They called me. I didn't answer, and they called my mom's.
Okay. And who was calling?
It's pretty much his aunt.
Okay, his aunt.
Yeah.
On her side.
On her side. She called my mom's, because she didn't want to even call me. Yeah. Because she knew how I was going to react. Because at the end of the day, even though we didn't have the best of relationship, I still, you know, that's my son's mom. I wanted him to have the best relationship with her as he could have. And when I found out, my mom, she know how I am. She kind of talked me into it and talked me down and made sure I was in the place that I was comfortable. I said, just tell me. And then when she told me, it's like I knew it was going to happen, or I felt it, because she kept talking about it. And when they said it, we just broke down, because I'm like, now I have to tell him.
That she is now.
And he's texting her at the same time, like, Mom, you okay? Mom, you okay? He texting her, like, you know, he was happy he saw her the day before.
Happy got the
Now he texting her to see if she okay. And then I get the call. My mom rushed over to my house. We all just went in the back room. Me, her, and Katria, we talked. And I don't know, man. I couldn't hold it in. I kept breaking down. I didn't know what to say. She kind of carried the whole conversation. I was already going through stuff. My baby, my new born was coming, which was on the 31st of December. So I tried my best to compose myself, and I kept leaving the room. But seeing him cry made me cry. Even thinking about him crying about it, I'm trying not to, you know, I'm trying to hold it together. But that was probably one of the worst days of my life, to have to explain to him what death was. Even though he had been to funerals, he had knew, but I don't think he felt that, I never, I've always had my mom in my life, and to not have her, or to even think about not having her, I would cry. So when he found out he didn't have her anymore, he cried for weeks. He still cried to this day.
Yeah.
Sometimes I might have to go to his school and, talk to him, because he thinking about her. Yeah. And that's why with kids and these phones, you got to be careful, because sometimes it bring up too many memories for them to handle. Yeah. And it's like an overload of information and pictures and content. So I had to take the phone and I just looked through it, and I don't want to delete it though, because that's probably his thing that he has with her, now that he don't have her in his life, physically. I try to keep him focused on, keeping good memories of her. And going back to that day, I never got it together. Like, I don't think I got it together. Josiah's mom, Marissa, she talked me through it a little bit. My mom kept talking me through it. But, you don't get over nothing like that when you got to tell your kid about death. And now I'm more open about it, and I want him to know what it is. Since he kind of already took the big hit, I want him to know, like, you can make it through it, because a lot of kids don't think they can.
When you told him, does he, like, so you didn't mention any of the details? How was that? Like, was it like...
No, okay. I didn't. Okay. I felt like him being a 7-year-old, he didn't need to know. I said that she had an accident happen. Yeah. Which it was an accident. Yeah. On the paperwork, it was an accident. From what I know. Okay. I didn't go into details, and I don't think I would until he was grown. You know, but now we in therapy. The therapist say he's gonna find out one day. Yeah. You gotta make sure the people that he around with the loose lips, people in your family talk. You never know what they might say around your kid. Yeah. You never know when a kid arguing with another kid to be hurtful, and the other kid then found out some information. I'm saying that the kid would do that, but you never know. Yeah. So trying to cope with it and teach him how to cope at the same time is a difficult process to get through. Yeah.
What helps you get through those moments?
Just the time being with my kids, to be honest, knowing that I can keep. If I lost my mama, I don't think I'd be able to make it. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. I think I would probably just say forget life. Yeah. So me knowing that I can keep him, he just called me like, "Where you at, man? What's going on?" Yeah. Like, I know I gotta keep him going and keep his mind. He asking so many questions and talking so much. Like, I need to keep him going. That's the coping mechanism. Us spending time together, letting him know, all right, your mom is still here in spirit, and you can call your brothers and sisters and talk to them whenever you want. Let's keep the relationship going. Let's think about the positive things. The anniversary coming up, so we gotta, I'm gonna let him do a collage for her again. We did it for Mother's Day. I'm gonna let him do one every year if he wants to, or whatever he want to do. And therapy is a coping mechanism. It's very positive, if you get the right one, and it helps kids to be comfortable talking. Not even about the situation, just to be comfortable talking to somebody. Yeah. To express themselves, because he can't handle like a whole hour. We do like a 30-minute session. Yeah. And, she asks open-ended questions to him. Yeah. Or she'll ask him, like, do you want to talk about your mom? He say no. We're not going to talk about it at all. So she tried to build a relationship with him and me.
So therapy has helped a ton.
Yeah.
I don't want to dig, like this
Please
is
don't.
No, I don't. Bro, you good. I just, and I want to respect your time. I think, I want to let you know, bro, you've done a phenomenal job in this thing, though, bro.
Thank you.
There's no right answer. There's no right way. But if there had to be one, bro, you're doing it. Right.
Am I?
No, just how intentional you are with your kids and putting them in therapy and understanding, okay, this is bigger than me, that I do need this support. So my question is, what do you think your son sees when he sees you?
A father, a dad, daddy, all of the above.
But what if he had to describe his father? What would he say?
A hard-working man that probably need a day off. Like he always like, would you rather have a whole week off or work every day for a month? I'm like, what you think? You don't want to be off. Like he always asks me questions like that. So he know I'm a hard worker. Yeah. He know I'm always trying to make some money to get him what he need and his brother. He know it. He can see it, and I think that's what he'll say. My dad is a hard-working man, and he's a provider. Maybe not the same words, but if you ask a kid those questions, you know, like a Sesame Street session, he would answer it like that, and that's what it would mean. Like, he know. And he probably would say the same about his mom, you know. He don't know none of this, the real deal, and I swear I'm not going to ever say nothing. You know, because at the end of the day, you keep that memory of her that you got. And just like I want you to keep, you know, the memory of me when I'm gone, like, keep it. Hold on to what you know initially, like how we were and how we, you know, raised you.
Well, what do you think the future, not the future, what does Jesse do now? What does parenting look like now? And how do you continue to progress in all this and navigate all of this?
Well, I always say I'm a great dad. But sometimes my parenting is off. You know, it's like you learn it every day on how to be a parent. I'm the best father, the best dad. From here, I want to help other men. Whatever you consider them to be, I want to help them. The single father, the father that don't want to go to court, the father that lacks the resources, the father that doesn't understand because he didn't have a father. Like, I want to help those people. And I ended up getting a DBA for a nonprofit. And once I get the C3 status, I think it's called, or the CO3, I forgot the name of it, but once I get that status, you'll see it out here. It's called My Brother and Me Community Resource Center. Which I'm putting that building out there. Like, it's going to be a big center. And it's going to be a recreation center. It's going to be a legal aid center. It's going to be a center where we get pedophiles off the street. It's going to be a center where people could just come and talk, kick it, have sessions like this. Or it's going to be a center where you learn how to do stuff like this. It's going to be a center where the moms can come and we can learn how to co-parent better. Similar to how you hold those, the fatherhood events. So it's like I learned that from you, man. I learned that from you, brother, man.
No. Parenting community center. So it's like, and man, you keep pushing for that, bro. I really think, like I say, when it comes to fatherhood, bro, you do a great job. I need you to hear this. Don't worry about no camera. You do a great job, bro. You give this thing your life, right? And you just keep surrendering to God. Keep listening. Keep being obedient. Because that's what's going to teach you how to be a father. I had a great father in my life. You had a great father. But there's only one father who can teach you everything that you need and where you go from here. Because life is going to have more obstacles. It's going to be more a longer journey, right? There's going to be some good and the bad. But there's only one definite way that will get you to where you need to be. And that's through God, bro. And I really think you have just such a gentle heart, such a kind heart. And I like how you're very real, right? You're very transparent. I don't know if this is the right term, but you haven't hardened your heart. You know, when someone goes through some of the tragedy that you have been through, they harden their hearts, right? You got to protect yourself. You don't.
I get what you're
I can't take another blow like that no more.
Yeah.
But it seems like you have chose to love more, right? And even how you speak about the mother of your child is still out of respect and love, because she was a very good person. We all have our struggles, right? We all have hurdles in life, and in the midst of everything, you had to choose and stay and support your son, right? And I think you honor her by the father that you are today. You honor her by the father you are today. She would be very proud of you, and I know she's very grateful. And the only reason that she could leave and step away as a parent, regardless of the situation, because she knew that you were there to support.
You know, she said that to me the last day I seen her. That was almost exact words too. You know, appreciate that.
No, but I mean that, man. This fatherhood thing ain't easy, man. Bro.
Well, I mean, this is how we get the information out because it's not easy, man. I thought I wasn't going to make it, to be honest. Yeah. Like, I didn't think it. Even though I did have a good father, I still thought in my head, like, I can't do this by myself. Yeah. And I couldn't. So I surrounded myself with people and I surrounded myself with information on how to be better at it. And I think we all get better with time. Yeah. You just got to stay focused and stay true to yourself and don't harden your heart. That's what you don't want to do.
Don't harden your
heart. I like that. Don't harden your heart because you start, stuff reflects off of stuff like that. Yeah. So you're not going to accept the positive information that comes in if you harden your heart. Yeah. You're not going to be able to embrace it at all.
No. Man. I love you, bro.
Love you too, my G, man. Appreciate it, bro.
Everybody who listened in today, I really hope that you got something from this. This is a true definition of a father's love. In spite of not feeling like he had everything he needed, in spite of feeling alone, that love has guided him, and he just takes it day by day. And I know we'll get you back on here soon, man, to continue to hear about the parenting.
Right, we ain't even.
Yeah, no. I'm very grateful though. Very grateful for the opportunity. Those listening, thank you. Thank my man Lucas. Coming to Detroit was a ride, but man, it was no better way we can film this.
Right. Shout out to Lucas, man. Appreciate it.
To being able to kick it with you and hear your story. So.
The story ain't over yet, man.
Nah.
We got a lot more. So.
I feel that, man. Peace, love. So heritage, man. No, man, my heart is heavy, bro. You got such a heavy story.
I know, man. It's hard to break the room down like that, but I'm the person that's gonna get it back to where it needs to be too. Yeah. And I do that with my kids. Like, it get heavy. You can't. It's inevitable, man. Yeah. It's gonna get heavy sometimes. Yeah. Like, you just gotta know if you keep your heart in the right place and try to stay focused. Cause for a long time, when I felt like I was losing my mind or something, I would just get real recluse, I guess, reclusive, which I am now, like but secluded? That's by choice. Okay. Yeah, like secluded.
Okay.
You stop talking to people, you stop getting information that you need. You can't do that.
Can't do that.
You gotta always keep your eyes open, man, because the kids start noticing that type of stuff too. So I'm still working on it.
I feel it.
Coronavirus didn't make it no better.
But we
getting there.
One day at a time.
One day at a time.
All right, y'all. All right, man. Thanks for having us. All right. Take care, y'all.